All right, so today I've got a different video for you all. What I'm going to be going over here today is what to look for when it comes to, fake Lattafa clones. So yes, those do exist. These are, pretty much these are really, really cheaply priced Lattafa fragrances that, you think are legit, but they, come out to, actually being fake fragrances of, yes, a clone fragrance. So I have here a real and a fake Lattafa Asad. And then I do have my fake bottle here of Bade'e Al Oud for Glory. I don't have the real Oud for Glory, but I do have another bottle within the Bade'e Al Oud series, Honor and Glory. And so because this fragrance is also within the same series, I'll be able to kind of do a comparison and let you know what to look for when it comes to, a real Bade'e Al Oud fragrance. All right. So just to get started here, when it comes to the Lattafa Asad, the first thing that I would say that, will tell you whether or not, the fragrance is real or not is, and this is what really kind of, set the trigger off for me, was this right here on the side. So the real Lattafa Asad bottles, they have this on the side here. I believe this is like the ingredient list and stuff like that. So this is what the side of the box is supposed to look like on a real Lattafa Asad, bottle. On this one, this is what the side of the box looks like on this one, and this is the fake one. All right. So this one just says, Asad. It's got the sort of design there, but you can see it looks nothing like what this one does. All right. So that is definitely one difference there. I mean, in terms of like the front of the box, I don't really notice that much of a difference, to be honest with you. The front of the boxes look pretty much the same, in my opinion. Now, what I do notice on the Lattafa logo on the top here, and the camera may or may not be able to pick this up, but pretty much with the fake box over here, what I noticed with the logo on this one is it looks like the logo is definitely a little bit more pixelated than what the logo is on this box here, which is the real one. So that's something that you don't really notice until you like really look at it up close. And then also the logo on the fake one is slightly smaller than the logo on the real box here. All right. So that's that. And then you have this side of the box here, which on the fake one, you see the authenticity sticker is actually on this side, whereas it's not on this one. All right. Or actually, no. So yeah, this is the fake one here. So you see, yeah, the authenticity sticker is on this one. And then it's not on this side on this one. It's actually on this side on the real one. All right. Now, I don't know if, when it comes to where they place the sticker specifically on the side, if they just kind of place it on random sides of the box. I have no idea. But that was one, difference that I definitely noticed. And then also on the bottom of the box here, you can see that the bottom of the box does also look slightly different as well. All right. So those are the differences that I see in terms of the box. Now, there's also some differences, I believe, on like the inside of these boxes as well. Yeah. So on the real Lattafa Asad, you kind of have these like brackets that, sort of keep the bottle from moving around too much. And that's on the real Asad. On this fake one, there's nothing in here to keep the bottle from, sort of sliding around inside of the box. All right. So that's, in terms of the box, those are the differences, that I noticed there. Now, in terms of the actual bottle itself, the first thing that kind of, and this didn't really start to happen until, after I had the fragrance for a while, but as you can see, the writing on this one here is basically, it's like faded away, whereas the writing on this one hasn't faded. Now, I just have recently gotten this bottle, maybe like I don't know, three weeks ago or a month ago or something like that. So it hasn't been nearly as long as what I've had this bottle for. I think I've had this one for probably 2 years or something like that. So I don't know if eventually if the writing will sort of wear off on this bottle, but I mean, to be honest with you, it's not like I'll wear this fragrance every day. So, for this writing to have faded off this way, I don't think I really have any other fragrance that has done that. Maybe one or two fragrances possibly, but as far as what's coming to mind for me right now, this one is the only one that I can really think of that I've experienced that problem with. In terms of everything else, I mean, in my opinion, the color of like the sort of bronze that they have on the bottles, to me, it's a little bit darker in color on the real one than what it is on this fake one here. All right. And then, I mean, in terms of the actual cap, the cap to me, like the Lattafa logo up top, it looks about the same to me. And then the sticker on the bottom looks the same to me as well. Now, as far as like the atomizer and stuff like that, yeah, so I do see a difference in the atomizer. So the atomizer on this fake Lattafa Asad, definitely the opening for it is bigger than what it is on the original or on the real one, pretty much. All right, so those are the differences cosmetically. Now, in terms of the smell, I get a little bit more alcohol with the fake Lattafa Asad. But I mean, to be honest with you, for the most part, this does smell a lot like the real one. It doesn't really project as much as, what the real one does. But I mean, in terms of overall smell, it doesn't really seem that far off. And I think that was the main reason why I didn't necessarily suspect that, it was a fake fragrance, when I initially got it, because I mean, it smelled like what I expected it to smell like. It smells a lot like, Sauvage Elixir. So I didn't really think anything of it when I got the fragrance. But obviously, this one definitely is a fake. All right. In terms of like any sort of reactions, that my skin has gotten from wearing this fragrance, I haven't had any negative reactions, thankfully. But, I would not advise anyone, continue wearing a fragrance if they've, kind of found out that, it's a fake fragrance. All right. So that is what to look for with Lattafa Asad. Now, for the Oud for Glory, or I guess really you could say that this applies to any sort of Bade'e Al Oud line fragrance. The first thing that I noticed here, once I, got other Bade'e Al Oud fragrances, and I mean, I've owned all of those fragrances at this point. Right now, the only ones that I have are just this one, the Honor and Glory, the Amethyst, and I believe that's it right now. But again, obviously this one is a fake. So as you can see on the front, you've got the authenticity sticker on like the front plastic cover here, which normally with all of the other Bade'e Al Oud fragrances that I've gotten, it's always been on the back. All right, so that was one thing there. I mean, in terms of everything else, I mean, everything else to me looks okay on the front. Now, when you open the fragrances up, this is where I also noticed the difference. So I noticed with every other Bade'e Al Oud fragrance that I've gotten, on the inside of the box, you get that little card. All right. As you can see with the Bade'e Al Oud for Glory, this one doesn't have that little card. It doesn't even have an insert, you know, for you to place the card. All right. So that's the difference there. And then in terms of like the differences on the actual bottle itself, there are differences there as well. So with all of my other, you know, Bade'e Al Oud Lattafa fragrances, on the back of the bottles, they all say Lattafa. And you can see here, this one, the Oud for Glory, does not say Lattafa down here at the bottom. As far as the cap goes, it looks to me like the logo and the text on where it says Lattafa is slightly smaller on the fake Bade'e Al Oud, you know, Honor and Glory, or I'm sorry, Oud for Glory. So that's a difference that I saw. I mean, in terms of like the actual plaque, the plaque on the front looks about the same. All right. So you can see that there. They look about the same for the most part. And then I think on the bottom here is where I also noticed a difference. So, okay, on the bottom, these look pretty much the same. They've got the same sort of, you know, information on each one of them. Now, I think the back of the box was where I saw some differences. And yeah, I mean, you can see here on the Honor and Glory, you've got like a manufacture date, which this one does not have. I don't think there's a manufacture date anywhere. Oh, so it is on the actual box here, but the manufacture date is written on the bottom of this box, which this one is saying that it was manufactured in February of 2021. But you can see here, you've got like the QR code on the Honor and Glory. And then you have like the sort of social media information and like the Lattafa.com website down here at the bottom. Whereas this one, you don't have that. Now this does have Lattafa.com written on it, but it's further up. Where is it? Yeah, so it's like right up here on this one instead of being all the way at the bottom. All right. In terms of atomizer, to me, the Lattafa Bade'e Al Oud for Glory, it does look slightly bigger on this fake one than what it does on the Honor and Glory. All right. So there are just like really slight differences that I think, you know, to most people, especially if they're not familiar with, you know, what you should be looking for, like in the other fragrances within this line, you know, they could easily be fooled because, I mean, most people are only going to have to reference, you know, like a picture that they're seeing somewhere on the internet that's just kind of showing like the front of the bottle. So I just wanted to make this video to kind of make you all aware of certain things like this, just in case, you know, if you possibly have, you know, one of these fragrances that are actually fake, and maybe you're wondering, like, I keep seeing all these reviewers talk about how long the fragrance lasts, and I only get like a few hours. That would more than likely be, you know, what the issue is, you know, you could potentially have a fake version of the fragrance. Now, I know some people, they kind of tell people to like, don't buy certain fragrances if they're at certain prices. I don't necessarily want to do that. What I will say is definitely for both of these Lattafa fragrances that have come out to be fake, I did purchase both of these from Amazon. Now, I don't think that they came from like, I don't think the seller was like Amazon directly. I think it was from someone else. I'll have to see if I can go back into my Amazon app and, actually find the purchase. And then if I can, I'll screenshot that and show a receipt of, where I actually bought it from in terms of who the seller was. But I would not recommend purchasing Lattafa fragrances from Amazon because so far, that's two fragrances from Lattafa that have turned out to be fake. And I haven't had that, happen with any other sort of clone house that I bought fragrances for. So, definitely be careful of buying, I guess fragrances in general from Amazon. But, in terms of cost, that can sometimes, sort of, give the fragrance away of, whether or not it's a fake or not. But at the same time, that's not always the case. So, for instance, I posted on the community tab not too long ago, Joma Shop was selling Paris Corners Rafaqet for like $18. Now that's super like dirt cheap for any sort of clone fragrance. But that fragrance, I would have no question that, if you were to purchase that fragrance from Joma Shop at that price, that it's 100% legit. So I don't necessarily want to say that price is always going to be like the determining factor on whether or not a fragrance may be, fake or not. It just all kind of depends on who the actual seller is, especially if you're buying it from a site like Amazon or eBay or something like that. Make sure that it is a pretty reputable or trusted seller. But if it's not one of those trusted or reputable sellers and you see it going for like a price that seems too good to be true, then more than likely it is. All right. So that is pretty much, that's the information that I had to give on this topic. Let me know what you all thought about this video in the comments. And also, if you're brand new to the channel, do me a favor, go ahead and subscribe. And again, that's Jamar from Vegas Sense. I'll see you on the next video.